Hello everyone, welcome back to Komorebi. Where we last left off, we were, we're about to go to the Wayfarer. We're about to sneak in. And if that plan fails, we all just run and book it. And I still can't get over the fact how we just started a campaign. Pretty much a D&D campaign. But not really. That I did not expect that turn. But this part is going to be the culmination fragment, so let's just jump into it because it's probably most likely going to be long.
Experience culmination fragment. Wayfarers.
Yes. And this will be the last of fragment map 2. That was the same as before. Thank you for choosing Argus. Our future your way. I think that was the same as before. It's the first one. Alright, Friday, December 27th. As soon as we enter the Wayfarer, we're asked to show our ID. Of course, we all oblige, except for Isaac and Kyron. I can see that their infiltration was already successful. The security guard gives us a nod as we each scan our phones. Picture our face and name pops up, which he compares to us in person. Obviously, we pass, and a few moments later, we're officially in. It's an interesting sight, seeing Isaac and Kyron sitting at a table. A zero breaking bread with the city folk. Is this how things were before Komorebi? Back then, before the system, everybody could have existed in unity. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. I know the truth. The world was on the brink of all-out war before the visions came. I guess there will always be conflict and social divides, no matter what. It's almost like we're fixated on our need to be different or superior. At least that's the way Argus thinks, making the zeros grovel in the streets. I would never look down on Kyron, and even public opinion supports the zeros. Perhaps we're approaching unity for the first time in history. The sight before me only enforces that this peace is unattainable.
Took your sweet time, I see. We're not living in the fast lane like you. Huh, should I slow down? Nah, wouldn't be nearly as fun.
We all pull out a chair and sit down at the table.
So, you all want a round? I'm down.
What do you recommend?
A screwdriver would be nice.
A screwdriver?
I don't know this drink.
It's like orange juice and vodka.
What's vodka?
It's like orange juice and happiness.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take it.
Sure.
Round of screwdrivers then?
We all nod, implying that it's time for Kyron to go. If he ordered and got ID'd successfully, then we'd be in the clear. It feels like such a risky play, but Isaac's confidence is contagious.
This better be a real drink. If you're pranking me, I'm gonna get you back.
Cross my heart.
Hope to die?
I wouldn't go that far.
We'll see.
He leaves the table and starts walking toward the bar.
He sure likes a joke about Argus killing us, huh? Joking about serious stuff is a valid way to cope. There's gotta be a better way. Yeah, I said valid, not the best.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, guys. I don't mind my life being used as a punchline.
That is the most Isaac thing you've ever said.
Speaking of Argus, I have a question.
What's up?
Klace is looking down at his diary, but keeping it turned away from us. I can see his eyes scanning the pages, like he's catching up on notes.
Remember that incident report you mentioned? Are you sure you didn't notice anything weird about it?
Almost certainly.
Alright. Did you check out my profile?
No? I'd never snoop.
Yeah, snooping is bad. Wouldn't want you seeing all the mischief I get up to.
What kind of mischief are you talking about?
You? Mischief?
It's quickly becoming my middle name.
Klace, mischief. Bubblegum. We all look at each other for a moment, thinking the exact same thing.
Wait, what is your name? I know it's definitely not Klace.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Damn it, okay. Never
What
mind,
is it
scratch that.
Hey, don't pry like that, Dante. Unless you want to tell us your real name, too.
Wait a minute, Don, that's his fake name?
Hitting the brakes.
Thought so.
I guess Dante isn't his real name either. Oh well, I'll still call him by his chosen name, because I don't know his real name. They offer the same courtesy by calling me Delta after all.
I guess I was just curious what you saw. Did it flag me as my real account or my burner account?
Burner, for sure.
Good to know.
He scribbles down some notes in his diary. It's still interesting how lost he seems to be in that thing. If I didn't know any better, I'd actually find it a bit suspicious. As a small silence ensues, I decided to ask him about it.
Oh, this? It's just for memories. You know, so I can look back one day.
Maybe we could take some pictures or videos?
Well, those can be spread all over the place. This is strictly private. For my eyes only.
That's fair.
He's probably writing about how annoying we are.
Maybe how annoying you are.
You know, I wouldn't even complain.
Before the conversation continues, Kyron returns to a tray. As he places it down on the table, I get my first look at the screwdrivers. They were barely even orange. It's like a glass of vodka and a splash of juice.
I told you they don't mind pouring extra.
Yeah, guess I'm off the deep end here.
He grabs his glass and holds it up with a smile.
Ready to get this started?
Whole squad's gonna be drunk as shit. The screwdrivers are half empty by now. I can feel it in my head. I definitely don't think I'll be drinking as much as I did in a nightclub. Glances are exchanged as stories of the good old days are told.
Didn't know you were that into cosplay, Dante.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's actually how I ended up meeting Isaac. He had a bit of a fanboy moment when he saw me.
Wait, what's cosplay?
Costume play. Like dressing up as others.
Interesting.
He strikes a pose like he's thinking.
So if we traded clothes, we'd be cosplaying each other?
Well, not really. We're not fictional characters.
Well... I think Delta and I have the exact same thought.
You know, sometimes it feels like I am.
Huh?
You know, putting on an act while I perform and keeping that persona going during interviews.
Oh, makes sense to me.
So if we all cosplay as Klace, we're all Klace.
So I could cosplay as Klace?
Sure.
There's no way you could pull his stage outfit off.
I reckon I could pull it off in a couple different ways, actually.
Wow, you're all so smooth. I'm flattered. But we were talking about Isaac's fanboying.
No, we definitely weren't. That phase of my life is so over.
No, it's not. Bring it back.
I can attest to that one. He was pretty timid by the time he met me.
I never actually heard the story of how you two met. Though I imagine it's a low point in the saga of our universe.
Probably the lowest, yeah. I was working, and he basically broke in the front door. All he said was, "Help me!" But that's all I needed to hear.
You do seem to have a penchant for helping people in need.
Makes it easier to fall asleep at night. But yeah, a bunch of fans were chasing him down. So I let him hide in the back of my store, and I drove him home.
How did you know he wasn't just some creep?
Well, he is.
Fair.
But I knew his intentions were pure. And even if they weren't, I've got a bat in my trunk.
Damn, okay.
Like you could take me in a fight.
I couldn't. Hence the bat. Actually, it's still in my trunk, even today. So, make sure to remember that next time you cross me.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Do you always talk like this? I mean, it kind of seems like y'all hate each other.
It's just friend banter.
Actually, hate is now a valid form of love.
Well, then I'm head over heels.
Don't worry, I hate you too.
Taylor blushes and his subject is abruptly changed.
How'd you meet Delta then?
I just showed up here.
Oh, we've been friends online for a long time. We were chatting on and off throughout all these stories. Soon as they mentioned they wanted to move, I invited them over.
One big happy family, huh?
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Aren't you forgetting someone?
He tilts his head toward Klace in an inconspicuous fashion.
Right. I actually met Klace through Taylor's stream. Figured I'd offer to house him while he took a break from work.
And then there's me.
I keep saying you'll bring a lot of stories to the table.
Trust me, you already have. We talk about you quite a bit in the group chat.
Good things, I hope.
Sure, let's go with that.
Sure.
Am I allowed to join it, by the way? You've piqued my interest now.
That's a hard maybe. Let me think about it a little more.
All right, then think away.
He grabs his cup and chugs the rest of his drink.
Hey, y'all down for a game?
What'd you have in mind?
Well, there's something we used to play back on the colony. It'd help us to get to know each other better.
Really? We played a game like that at the nightclub last week. I'm down for more, though. It's fun to learn all about you.
He grips the pen in his hand as he speaks, like he's ready to write more.
I'm game.
I am so down.
Sounds good to me.
What are the rules?
It's pretty simple, but we can make it more interesting. How about I grab another round, yeah? You know, for punishments.
Let me guess. We have to reveal private information about ourselves. And if we don't want to, then we risk getting blackout drunk.
Hey, you'll be spilling your guts either way.
Gross.
With a smirk, Kyron goes off to order us another round. I assume Isaac loaded his account with some money to spend. Maybe I'll get the next round. I wouldn't want to go broke so fast. It's actually pretty cool how I'm learning about life in the colony. They even have games to learn about your friends, just like we do. In fact, I'm willing to bet that the game Kyron wants to play is pretty similar. I finished the rest of my screwdriver and await his return. Every minute that passes, I'm more confident that we're in the right. All the zeros should be able to experience what we've given Kyron. Whether by Cypher or Argus's hands, it needed to happen. Oh boy. Yeah, this whole gang is gonna be drunk as shit, probably. A second screwdriver sits in front of me as Kyron looks at us with a smirk. It seems like we'll be playing a questions game again, but with some colony flair. Makes perfect sense, of course. Taking in a zero meant learning about their culture. But it seems like, technology aside, their culture wasn't too different from our own. So no matter what was about to come my way, I think I'd be prepared.
All right. Okay, this one's called Raise Your Hand. I'll explain the rules and take the first turn.
We all nod.
When it's your turn, you make a statement. Raise your hand if, and then finish the sentence. If the statement applies to you, you raise your hand.
It's that game.
Seems simple enough.
It's kind of like Never Have I Ever.
Hey, there's a bit more to it than that, though. You get to ask a follow-up question afterward, like why someone raised their hand, or even why they didn't.
Great. Can't wait to be put on the spot again.
This could actually be a bit more entertaining. No cards to play by, so we can go for the throat by default.
Please don't.
Well, I think Kyron's stepping up to bat. How about we let him set the tone for all this?
I'm planning to keep it pretty simple, actually, at least at first, so I know you're telling the truth.
All right, but when do we drink?
I didn't think that far ahead. I just thought it'd make things more fun.
I don't know. I didn't know I'd get this far.
How about if we're caught lying? Or if we refuse to answer the follow-up question?
I'm down for that. I'll just be sipping, though. Gotta take it easy after the nightclub last week.
And to prepare for the quantum leap. New Year's Eve is always a big day for booze.
Good thing I helped you carry all those bottles home, huh?
Couldn't have done it without you, man.
He holds his glass up before taking a sip like he's saying cheers. We all do the same and then look over at Kyron. It was time for the game to begin.
Raise your hand if you think your visions are set in stone, like literally fate, impossible to change.
This one's pretty easy for me, since I've never had a vision. But almost everything I know tells me that they aren't set in stone. This is mirrored by the fact that nobody raises their hand. I guess he wasn't lying when he said he'd start with a simple one. But even like detector tests start with some easy questions to ground you. I think it was for peace of mind, so he knows we're taking things seriously. He smirks, like the test is effective.
Kind of figured as much. I can tell you don't like being told what to do, whether it's Argus or even your own future.
Yep. We even made a pact to defy our visions. Didn't like the fact that we weren't a part of each other's.
A pact? Really?
Yep. Well, except for Delta, of course.
Kyron looks at me, a little confused. This is when I tell him that I haven't had a vision.
Oh, really?
He laughs nervously and rubs the back of his head.
Well, I'm not sure how to take that, so either my condolences or congratulations.
I shrug. It doesn't really bother me, being the odd one out. But it makes me feel very left out when topics like this come up.
I think I'm gonna choose, Klace for my follow-up.
Me? Really?
Yeah. Why don't you think our visions are real? Surely you're still a pop star in your own.
I guess.
But...
Well, it was still my choice to pursue this life. It's not like anyone held a gun to my head and told me to sing.
Then why did you?
The comfort and security, I guess? It seemed a lot less risky than my other options. But at the end of the day, I still had those other options. So it was more like a blueprint that I chose to follow. Or maybe it was like following in someone else's footprints. I still have the power to turn around and forge my own path.
Do you really, though?
I think I've already said enough. Remember, it was one follow-up question?
That's fair, and we all agree with a simple nod.
Well then, who will go next?
I have a pretty good one, actually.
Go for it.
A smirk appears on Dante's face that I can only describe as evil.
Raise your hand if you've slept with somebody at this table.
God damn, we're already jumping. Oh. Oh my. Obviously I don't raise my hand. But to my surprise, Isaac, Taylor, and Klace all raised theirs. All eyes are on Klace, despite the fact that multiple hands are raised.
Hey, Isaac and Taylor raised their hand too.
They live here. You've been here for like a week.
I hate this game.
Wait, who'd you sleep with then? He takes a big sip of his drink in advanced refusal to answer any follow-ups. Oh, okay. He quickly just took a drink. He does not want to answer. The entire table bursts into laughter, obviously, except for Klace. I feel bad for him. All I did was be honest with the group.
Hey, I got a good one. Less embarrassing, at least.
So who did Klace sleep with?
Yes, please.
Isaac smiles and preemptively raises his hand.
Raise your hand if you think we're doing the right thing.
All raise. He tilts his head toward Kyron. A moment later, everyone raises their hand.
Unanimous, huh? Well, I'm kind of flattered.
Can't be surprised, though, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure we're all in this together.
Whether we like it or not, I might add.
Yeah, but we're doing the right thing for sure. This time, the right thing just happens to go against Argus.
Right. Well, I guess it's time for my follow-up.
He looks directly at me and points his finger in a dramatic fashion.
Why do you think we're doing the right thing, Delta? It was a tie between you and Kyron, but he's kind of biased.
Oh shit. Unity is important. We should celebrate our differences, not punish them. Everyone nods and smiles at my answer.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I actually dig this game, Kyron. Good idea.
Don't mention it. Gotta repay you somehow, after all.
A moment later, Klace slaps his hand down the table.
Oh, I got one. Raise your hand if you think I should sing karaoke.
A curious question, and nobody raises their hand. Oof. He was probably checking if anyone thought we were under suspicion. What a clever way of checking in with the group while remaining under the radar.
Well, then I have a follow-up for Kyron. How'd it go when you ordered the screwdrivers?
Just as expected, actually. Scanned my phone, heard a beep, and I was good to go. Could have used a hand with a tray, but I understand.
Oh, gotta love the validation. Everyone here kept doubting me.
I was a little scared, to be honest, but you definitely know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm kind of a prodigy.
Yeah, slow down, Isaac. Who's next?
Yeah, slow down, Isaac.
I wouldn't mind taking a turn.
Don't.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know him that well, and even I agree.
Hey, I promise to play gentle. I have a good question, I promise.
A silence ensues, as if it's a challenge for him to prove his words.
Raise your hand if you're jealous of somebody at this table.
Jealous? That's a pretty good one. In unison, everybody raises their hands.
Kind of figured as much. We're built to want the stuff that other people have. But now, I gotta figure out who to put on the spot.
Dante. We all seem fond of answering, so there's no easy target.
Let's go with Klace. My curiosity is getting the better of me.
Again? Really?
Just pick Dante or Isaac,
To
goddamn.
be fair, you didn't answer last time, so I think this is better. Less embarrassing, too.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But honestly, my answer is all of you. I'm jealous of everybody at this table.
Even me?
Especially you. This whole idol thing can really take its toll. It's like living for somebody else instead of yourself. When my hiatus is over, I have to get back to work. But all of you get to keep on living this awesome life. They'd never let me walk the streets or go to a tavern.
Looks like we have more in common than I thought.
Hmm?
I mean, neither of us are fully in control of our lives. We're governed by circumstances outside of our control. With me, it's the system, and with you, it's the industry.
I'm honestly surprised they let him take a break. Time is money, and now they're losing plenty.
I'm sure they'll recover. Got a lot of song ideas floating around in my head, too. If anything, this hiatus is just a big rush of inspiration.
I could go for one of those.
Is the writing getting hard?
Always is.
Cheers to that one, man.
They hit their cups together and a small ring echoes.
I guess it's Delta's turn now?
That's true, everyone else is already gone. I'm not sure what my prompt should be.
I'll call a stalling rule if I have to.
Different game, genius.
Yeah, take your time, Delta.
Yeah, Taylor, shut up. Really gonna go on a date with me? Yeah. I don't want to decipher defeat Argus. That kind of brings a little bit of like, I don't know. Positive addition to the group, obviously I am. Or is it him going on a date with me? That's fucking... That is, like, kind of rude. Just like, would everyone go on a date with me? I've been keeping a secret from the group. Everyone immediately raises their hand, except for me. I gotta say, that's not what I was expecting.
Really, Delta? Nothing?
Too bad we can't make them elaborate on their own question.
Everyone has a secret, Delta.
Even you?
Especially me. It's only natural to have them. We can't share everything about ourselves.
True. I guess a secret isn't malicious by default. Anyway, raise it up, Delta. We know you're lying.
Damn it! I decided to direct my follow-up question toward Isaac. He seemed so open about everything, I had no clue what his secret could be. But a moment later, an uneasy silence takes over the table. Bad call, I guess?
Go ahead and drink, Isaac. We don't want to know your secrets.
I second that one, Dante. How about we all take a drink? You know, to valuing each other's privacy.
Everyone nods and we don't consider our drink. Actually, not in hindsight, it was yeah. I guess I picked the wrong thing to ask, but I got an achievement. I got an achievement though. I didn't even read what it even said. Privacy. That might have been the wrong question to ask. I got an achievement though, so in the end, it was worth it. At least they weren't mad, just a little firm.
Anyway, what happens next? If I'm not mistaken, that's a full round.
We go back to circle 1.
How about we finish our drinks and take a break, Wouldn't mind stretching my legs and checking out the tavern.
Sounds good to me.
Regroup in 10?
I might go touch up my eyeliner. How about we just regroup when we're ready?
Fine by me.
We all stand up and go our separate ways. I look over at Kyron. He's drawn to the dartboard. Do they have that kind of stuff in the colony? I wonder.
Experience heart-to-heart fragment. Kyron 1.
Yes. Oh, the music changed. I decide to approach Kyron while I have some time away from the group. Even though Isaac explained everything, the man himself was still a mystery. It'd probably be helpful to learn more about him and life in the colonies.
Hey, Delta, watch this. Yeah, I'm calling a bullseye.
Sure enough, a moment later, he hits the center of the board.
Score.
He gives me a big smirk and turns to face me. I decide to ask him about colony life, and if they had darts.
Now, of course. If it doesn't rely on technology, we probably have it. City folk who move to the colonies always bring new ideas, too. I've actually seen a lot of people abandon Argus. The colonies are nothing if not welcoming.
He walks over to the dart he just threw and pulls it out.
Wish I could say the same about the city. No matter where I go, I feel so many eyes on me, and I know they aren't just admiring my good looks.
Fuck it. When I look, it's definitely admiring good looks.
Right back at you, Delta. I'm really happy you chose to give me that apple. Now we're partners in crime, ready to take down Argus and look good doing it. I doubt they'll go down without a fight, though. But right now, their inaction borders on negligence. People are starving to death, right at their front door. And where I come from, you never turn down a neighbor in need. I feel like we could teach you city folk a lot about life. It's a bit harder when every day is a struggle.
Every day they struggle? I asked him something that's been on my mind this entire time. The people who abandon Argus, do they ever seem to regret it?
If they do, they never really show it. I think they know what they're signing themselves up for. They're usually super happy at first, but then it starts to fade. I don't think that means they regret it or they're depressed. It's more like a honeymoon period where they appreciate the freedom. The city may be beautiful, but those walls are definitely suffocating. Once they can truly breathe, it's almost like they have a new lease on life. But, just like all things, it quickly becomes normal and turns into routine. Day in and day out, life on the colonies never changes. It's a cycle that's definitely absent in the city. As much as Argus controls you, it's still so chaotic. I never really know what's waiting for me around each corner. It's definitely not Argus agents, though, and that makes me happy. At first, I figured it was only a matter of time before we got kicked out, but seeing the public opinion slowly sway it's actually pretty shocking. We always thought your views aligned with Argus. Gotta say, I half expected that apple you gave me to be poisonous. It was a big risk, letting you and your friends know that I'm a zero.
That's a reference I know.
But it's a risk that paid off. Let's hope they continue to do that, yeah? Our lives aren't exactly risk-free. Yet.
I like how he threw the word yet in there. He definitely believes in the same goal that we do. Harmony between societies, a true, genuine give and take.
Anyway, sorry for the rant. Now that I can talk, I guess I don't feel like stopping. On the streets, I was almost too scared to say a word.
I asked him what made him speak to us then.
Desperation, I suppose, or at the very least, hunger was a good motivator. But after all this time, I can't help but feel guilty.
Guilty? How so?
Well, I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty resilient. I reckon I could last a lot longer without food than some of the others, so in my mind, sometimes I wish you ran across somebody else.
He looks a little sad, but it's completely understandable.
And if one of my people do starve to death on the streets, I know that in my heart, I'll just wish it was me instead. So let's make sure that doesn't happen, alright?
Obviously, I agree, since our goals are the same. We all wanted a conflict in the streets to end without death. It just remained to be seen who acted first, Argus or Cypher. It was like a standoff in the Old West. Both ready to shoot, but living in a moment where neither gun is smoking. We're just observers, wondering which one will be left standing.
I gotta say though, I feel like my life is complete these days. It's not like I never dreamed of living life in the city, you know? My vision just told me that it would be an impossible dream.
Right. In his vision, he's older and still living in the colony.
When I first had that vision, I was absolutely devastated. It's like my future was taken away from me. At least the one I wanted. Made me feel like giving up. Like any attempt at fighting it would be worthless. It took me such a long time to accept what I saw. Spent so many years trying to prove it wrong and see the city. I remember the first time I got to see what was behind those walls. I'd go into the forest and try to find the tallest tree. When I got to the top, I'd peek over the walls. God, it was always so bright and lively. I almost cried. It was actually kind of pathetic. Just a simple reminder of what I'd never be able to have. I'd look at the people with a mixture of jealousy and hatred. They were kind of small since I was so high up, but I saw their faces. And they all seemed happy. I knew that a lot of struggles we face on the colonies didn't exist for you. And because you weren't aware of that fact, you'd always take it for granted. It sucks so much to see people live your dream and not even appreciate it.
I can imagine that would be difficult.
One of my favorite things to do was watch planes take off, just soaring the skies between cities. What an amazing sight. Told myself that one day, I'd get to experience all of that for myself. Despite my vision saying otherwise, I kept pushing forward. So I hope you can understand what I mean when I say I feel complete. Living in the city, being on a plane, it's just all I ever really wanted. We always suffer for the choices of those that came before us. I never really got to know my parents, but I think that's for the best. I was stuck there because of them. They'd be an easy target for my hatred. And having an easy target for your hatred just stifles your own growth. And maybe that's why Argus and city folk are still so old-fashioned, clinging to this belief that the system makes you superior.
I never felt like the system or city life made me feel superior.
And that's why I'm certain I've chosen the right group. I mean, this might sound weird, but there was something different about you. Well, not just you, but the rest of the gang too. I felt like I could approach you. It was the first time I ever got friendly vibes from someone in the city, so when I picked up on them, I had to take action almost immediately. Even if I get caught, at least you help me check a few things off my list. No matter how short or long this lasts, I still got to live in the city. And not only that, but I got to be inside a plane too. It's all thanks to you, Delta. Can't deny it. I guess I'm just glad that I didn't have an easy target for my hatred. It allowed me to grow and meet people who I can love and appreciate. A real, true group of friends. I don't think I'll ever forget you or the rest of them.
You know, we could try being more than friends.
Oh, really? Well, you might have to get in line. I'm not exactly an outcast on the colonies. Got a few people vying for my hand.
Vying for his hand? That's such an odd way to put it. But given his personality and appearance, I totally understand. Oh, it's also the voice. Definitely the voice.
Anyway, thanks for the chat, Delta. You want to head back to the group and keep this night going? It's still pretty early. Maybe we can all raise our hands again.
I nod, since this seems like a pretty good stopping point. Now that I know more, things seem completely different. There's no longer a sliver of doubt that we're doing anything wrong. Kyron is just like us, and he should be able to live the life he wants. Whether that was in the city or the colony, it should be his choice to make. I still have some questions for Kyron, but nothing immediately pressing. It was more like, how did he get in the city? Him or a friend must have had ties to Cypher and Hermes. But from what he said, I doubt it's him. It must be someone else. We all sit back down on a table, and the group quickly assembles. But the man who felt like an outsider now feels like a true friend. Bullseye. Heart to heart, Kyron 1. Damn it. We were in for a night that'd be just as memorable as a nightclub.
Nothing like a nice little breather. I take it you're all good to keep going?
I could go all night long.
Obviously.
Yeah, bring it on.
Got a nice game of darts in, actually. Maybe we could go head-to-head sometime?
Oh, I'm really good at that.
You are?
Yep.
Never would have guessed.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know, you just have a certain aura.
Like an aura of bad aim?
Sure, you're right on track.
You should have seen me on Taylor's stream then. If you want to talk about bad aim, talk to him.
Oh. See how you play like a first-person shooter?
Hey, don't throw me under the bus like that. I was just going easy on you, since you're new.
There's no way you were going easy. I could see the panic in your eyes when I came for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to admit that you're better. He says the same thing no matter who he loses to.
Oh, come on, man.
Sorry, Taylor, but the truth is the truth. At least your viewers tune in for you, though. Your personality is the winner, not your skills.
Wait, so is Taylor the one with shit aim?
Well, I can't exactly be mad after a compliment like that. You're right, though. We all have our own strengths.
And weaknesses.
True.
Definitely got my fair share of those.
Says the self-proclaimed prodigy.
Just that pride at play, I guess. But I know I'm good at what I do.
And you have living proof of that now.
He points to himself in a display of pride.
Well, Isaac didn't do all of that by himself. He had a little help from you-know-who.
Yeah, he basically stole the joke and got all the credit. As much as you thank Isaac, you should thank Hermes, too.
Well, then if I ever meet this Hermes, I'll give them my regards.
Let's just hope that it's not behind bars.
Couldn't be that bad. A prison cell or city walls, it doesn't even matter. You're all stuck in here, forced to live life the way they say.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but it also happens to be an awesome, luxurious life, so even a prison cell would ease a lot of my struggles. In fact, it might even be a welcome change.
But don't get arrested now.
They can't do that, though, right? You gotta be in the system to have a criminal record. With no digital logs, you're almost like a ghost.
But I mean...
For me, they probably can. At least now.
Yeah. He holds up his phone.
Right. But all your friends?
Not sure. Seems like new territory for Argus, too. That's probably why they haven't actually responded yet. New situations call for new rules and protocols, right?
Sounds about right.
It's really weird, isn't it? We're like right on the verge of history. Almost feels like the world is standing still.
Yeah, especially for me. Remember, those are my people out there.
You must be feeling a little hopeful, though.
Kind of finding it hard to feel that way. Especially when the news keeps doing what it does. Fishing for sympathy views, showing all my people starving.
I can imagine it's tough, yeah. But there's one major takeaway here. And it's something important. For the whole world.
What are you on about?
It's something we've always wondered, but we never knew. But with everything going on now, I'm almost certain of it.
What?
And what is that?
Argus isn't invincible. If they were, we wouldn't even be here right now. The cracks are starting to show, and we can all see it.
Argus isn't.
I guess you're right. Didn't expect to get this far, at least.
And Even if we lose, it's not really the end. There's always someone who's willing to stand up. Whatever we can leave behind will be invaluable to them.
Just like Cypher left the blueprint for you to follow.
Exactly. We should come up with some sort of failsafe. You know, a set of files to leak if we end up getting caught. Something, anything to let people know what we did and how.
What happened to all that confidence?
Oh, it's still there. This is purely worst case scenario.
I find it odd that we're talking about this stuff out in the open. But it's not like this place is packed, or people are listening in. It's also clear that the bartender is out of earshot, so it's not a big deal. Although it's smart to plan for the worst, it was still a little unsettling. If we could leave behind something useful, though, then it was a good idea. Sometimes ideals pass down from generation to generation before becoming the norm. As much as I'd like to come out of this unscathed, there's always a chance that we may have to pass the torch. With everything Isaac has said, though, I think he's uniquely qualified for the task. That's what garnered most of the trust I have for him. A man who can make the impossible happen is the greatest threat of all. Especially against those who, in their arrogance, see themselves at the top.
This is all certainly cheerful and uplifting, but remember, we were talking about darts. Yeah? Starting to think you're just too scared to challenge me.
Oh, I certainly am. I wasn't trying to hide it, though.
Yeah, I think Klace is the one that challenged you. And from what I experienced, he does know how to aim.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry for getting sidetracked. You still down to face him, Klace?
Oh, I don't think so.
Huh? Everything good?
He looks around, clearly nervous. Pen in hand, he was scribbling in his diary.
Well, remember when I asked if I should sing karaoke?
Yeah, but none of us think we're in any danger.
I'm starting to think that we might be.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
What's wrong?
Well, when I asked, I noticed a few people staring our way. It's been a while, but they haven't stopped. It's creeping me out. Especially now that we're talking about matters at hand.
Aren't you famous or something? I mean, even I catch myself staring from time to time.
Eh.
Well, this is a bit different. One or two people usually turns into a crowd. Especially as they tell their friends and post on social media. But that hasn't happened here. They just keep staring. I think that's enough for me to point it out. Have you noticed?
Can't say I have.
Don't have eyes on the back of my head either. This is on you and Kyron, man.
True, only Klace and Kyron can see over there. Even in my seat, I don't have the right angle to look.
Yeah, I noticed, but I'm used to people checking me out. That fact aside, there are people looking our way.
What do we do?
We can still hang out at home.
Doesn't matter to me. Especially with all that alcohol we took from the club. If we can stay safe and save money, that's a win-win.
So I have to sing then?
I mean, it was your idea.
I think it'll help us out no matter what. If they are fans, then they'll appreciate the show. And if they're Argus, then it'll distract them while we slip out.
Wait a minute. If it is Argus, then what happens to me?
Eh.
Hey, it was your plan. Didn't you think it through?
Thinking things through isn't really my strong suit. But don't worry, I'll sing and then meet you back at home. I guess my main priority was your safety instead of my own.
You sure about this, then?
Absolutely. It was the plan after all. I can't just back out because there's some uncertainty.
He smiles.
I learned that one from you, Isaac. If you gave up, we wouldn't even be here right now. When things get difficult, you just try even harder.
Yeah, been doing that a lot lately. But thanks for the distraction, Klace. I'll find us a route home that's drone-free.
Isn't that a bit extreme?
Not if Argus is watching us, no. The first thing they do when we left is check the streets. Those drones can scan our faces, remember? We'd stand no chance.
That's fair. So, the party continues at home.
Sure looks like
Oh
it.
boy.
Hate to cut things short, but I think we need to.
Oh boy.
Hey, Klace, can you promise me something?
What's up?
Please sing us a song at the Quantum Leap. I'd love to stay and watch you now, but yeah.
Sure thing, Dante. I'd love to. You're expecting a big crowd, right?
Yeah, and it's private property. If anyone seems suspicious, we'll kick them out.
Sounds good to me.
He stops to think for a moment and then scoffs.
On hiatus, and I still end up performing.
Nah.
Somehow I knew this would end up happening. You're all free to go, though. Your savior is here.
The savior is here. I guess he really is acting as a savior. He's the only one who can cause a natural distraction, after all. But I do worry about what might happen to those people who are agents of Argus. They'd never do something to an idol performer in public, would they? It definitely seems like this is the best possible distraction for us to use. A night of safety in our own home definitely beats a night spent under prying eyes. Kind of ironic when Argus already watches us almost all the time. But there's something about those specific 4 walls that make it seem safer. So we should be anywhere right now. It should be within those walls. Klace approaches the karaoke stage and chats with the operator. A few moments later, he steps on stage. We start to make our way out. It looks like, for some reason, we'll be leaving through the back door. I assume it has to do with Kyron, or the position of the Argus drones.
Hey, well, I wrote this one a couple years ago. It seemed to do pretty well, so I hope you enjoy.
Advance this text box to start the song, and advance the next one to end it.
Oh, I can end it? We can just listen? Bulletproof heart.
Teardrops fall like rain, the way they're landing on my brain. It's driving me insane. I cannot play this game. I've got a bulletproof heart. I've got a bulletproof heart. Will it be enough for you? Will I ever be enough for you? I've got a bulletproof heart. I'm gonna make it start. Rip it out for you. I don't wanna be bulletproof anymore. Staring down the barrel of a gun. Lost all the ground we've won. It's time to face the sun and own all the things we've done. But I've got a bulletproof heart. I've got a bulletproof heart. I've got a bulletproof. I've got a bulletproof. I've got a bulletproof heart. I've got a bulletproof heart. Will it be enough for you? Will I ever be enough for you? I've got a bulletproof heart. I'm gonna make it start. Rip it up for you. I don't wanna be bulletproof anymore.
Yeah! I want to say sound just to listen and increase it. I hope you guys can listen to it. And yeah, that was good. It's encore. Now we have bulletproof heart. As soon as we exit the tavern, we start following Isaac. Hits his head, burying his phone, trying to find a safe route home. This music is like screams like stealth stage. The drone coverage must be extensive. It showed you a feat to dodge them.
Hold on. We should be safe in this alley for a few minutes. I'll calculate the rest of the route and send Klace a screenshot. At least then he'll know how to get home without being seen.
We all agree though, right? That wasn't Argus, just some fans.
Can't say for sure. Even then, we need to err on the side of caution. I can take a deeper look at my follow-up interview.
You're still planning to go to that?
Of course. I have no reason not to.
Well, we're currently running in fright from Argus. The last thing I'd want to do is walk into their HQ.
I guess that's what separates us then. No need to panic unless I'm given one. I just want Klace to feel safe while he's here.
You know, this is the only downside I've noticed about city life. You're all terrified of Argus, while the Zeros take a stand.
Hey, us city folk are taking a stand too.
Yeah, behind the mask of Cypher. Whoever this Hermes is, they're kind of a coward.
Hey, that's not nice. If it weren't for Hermes, you wouldn't have that phone. It was their blueprint that I used to beat the system. Whatever Hermes is planning, I'm sure it'll work. You're living proof that Argus isn't invincible. Knowing that can make all the difference.
Yeah, and their inaction only makes them look scared. But it's still smart to be cautious, especially right now.
And remember, this conflict is going to end in a week or two. Argus only has a few possible moves, and most play into Cypher's hands. The only one that doesn't is forceful removal. But I doubt they'll resort to that.
What makes you so certain?
If Argus wanted to rule with an iron fist, they'd already be doing it. Giving us a score and letting us control it. There's some trust there. It might not be ideal, but it could be 1,000,000 times worse than it is.
That's a pretty big assumption to make, Taylor. Like they treat their enemies the same way they treat their subjects.
They might not have a choice.
You think so?
Well, Argus has so many eyes on them right now. I'm guessing they don't like the taste of their own medicine. They'll probably take the option that society wants the most.
And public opinion is with the Zeros.
Exactly.
You know, he's not wrong. In fact, he'd know more about that than anyone. When you're on a platform, you need to please others, even more than yourself. As easy as it would be to kick your friends out, it's not the play. Their next move, or lack of one, will affect how we see them. For once, they have to factor in other people's feelings.
Yeah, I count on my viewers to hold me accountable. If I ever slip up, I want to hear about it so I can correct it, and ideally stop myself from slipping up in the future.
Awfully responsible, Taylor. Never would have expected that from you.
Hey, Klace. We're all a bit startled, not even noticing that Klace returned.
Whoa, where'd you come from?
Oh, I started to follow your route and heard you talking. Things went fine, by the way. No one followed me.
So they were just fans then?
I'm not sure. I got out of there before I got the chance to tell. The owner actually recognized me and helped me sneak out. Of course, not before giving me a few shots in the house.
Uh-huh.
Ah, damn. I was kind of hoping we'd find out for sure. Sometimes not knowing things is just way worse.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can take a deeper look at my follow-up interview. But remember, I already looked earlier today. We're clean. I doubt anything changed in a matter of hours, Taylor.
Fair.
So, are we ready to continue?
I think so. Klace, you good?
Those shots went straight to my head, but yeah, I couldn't turn down free drinks. Not from the owner.
I'm gonna say something controversial here, but I think we should let Kyron come back home with us.
Really?
Yeah. If Argus is after us, that means they're after him too. We can't just let him go off on his own. It feels wrong. Even if the chance is minimal, we shouldn't take it.
I don't know about that, Isaac.
If he's caught, then we're the next people they'd come for. We need to stick together like we always planned. Remember? If we go down together.
If you say so. But that pride is going to be the death of you.
I don't like how it's in red text.
Trust me, I'm counting down the days. But, looks like you got lucky, Kyron. You finally get to come over.
Under the most auspicious circumstances, too. We just better hope that Argus doesn't come knocking. I'm not quite close enough to take a bullet for any of you.
Don't worry, I'm pretty quick on my feet. We might have to worry about Taylor, though.
Hey, I'm nimble.
Klace looks really nervous and is tugging on his scarf.
Any chance we could talk about dying a little less?
Seconded.
Thirded.
Fine. The rest of the route is pretty simple, actually. Just follow me and we'll be home in no time.
We start to follow Isaac, and my mind is racing. Everything makes sense, but it's also scary and risky. Bringing Kyron home so early on, that was a part of the plan. But he was right. We couldn't just give him that phone, then ditch him. Especially because things were going differently than we anticipated. He was one of us now, and we had to take care of him and treat him as such. Even if that meant making a dangerous move. Our fear could be a self-fulfilling prophecy that tips Argus off. But I never forgive myself if we left Kyron, and something bad happened to him. This is our responsibility now. That's what I repeat to myself as we make our way home with an abundance of caution. The only thing that could save us is the resolution of the protests that rage on. It's like a coin was in the air and slowly falling down. We just hope it lands on the right side. Not just for us, but for the sake of everybody. Oh boy. As soon as we arrive home, we head to the kitchen. Just as expected, there's no beep or announcement when Isaac unlocks the door. I assume that he puts his mods back in place after Dante last removed him. It's weird how far removed we are from that initial conflict. Back then, those mods seemed to be a major cause of quarrels in the house. But things have certainly changed over the last week or so, for everybody. When I have to think about it though, it's still the same central conflict. It all boils down to how much we're okay with Argus being in control. It's still an issue that boils down to society clashing with the system. At least now, with the people in the streets, things are changing. For the first time, public opinion is moving in favor of the Zeros. It's like seeing these people, in their plight, change minds. I've said it before, but it's a lot easier to fight and discriminate against the concept. That's what the Zeros were to most of us until a couple weeks ago. A concept. Something intangible. A convenient target for judgment and hatred. Thankfully, me and the group were level-headed and incapable of that hate. Especially not toward a group of people who just think differently than us. I wish the people in power were as impartial as we are. Though I guess calling us impartial is kind of stretching the truth. Our allegiance is clearly with the Zeros and against our world powers. I guess it was better to say that we side with justice and equality for all.
Well, I think we can strike all worry from the record.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like bringing Kyron home was the ultimate test. Talking outside or in a cafe just doesn't seem as wrong. But now we're definitely abetting him. So there's that. If they were watching us, they'd be waiting for a slip-up, something they could pounce on and use to take us down. But we seem to be fine. There's definitely been no pouncing tonight.
Looking to change that?
Fuck off, Taylor!
Silence.
Leave it to Taylor to make anything thirsty. But, speaking of thirst, you all down for another beer?
That's the one in the can, right?
Usually. I guess it depends on your preference. We could pour it out on the sidewalk if you'd rather use your fingers.
Dante, come on.
Oh, bad joke?
Actually, it was pretty good. Something tells me I'll never live that one down.
Yeah, you probably won't. Hold on. I'll go grab the drinks.
God.
I'm fine with that one if that's okay. I think I had a few too many at the Wayfarer.
Yeah, Klace, you had two. Then you had free drinks from the owner. I think it's more than enough.
Generous proprietor, huh?
That's one way to put it. He said he'd hook me up if I ever came back, too, but I don't think I'll get the chance. Work wouldn't allow it.
Dante returns with the beers and places them in front of us. Except for Klace, who already seems intoxicated enough.
Is work really that restricting?
I'm probably downplaying it, to be honest. They basically have to approve my every action. This hiatus is killing them, I can almost feel it. But I promised them more albums and tours in exchange, so that's what sold them. They'd never let me do this for the fun of it. Everything I do usually comes down to, is this making the label money?
Or costing them money, in this case.
Yeah, I had to cancel a lot of interviews to make this happen. That's why we had the nightclub to ourselves as well. It was going to be used for an autograph session.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. How much money did that cost the label?
No idea, but I'd guess a lot. It's not even a good way to meet fans either. Most people just want the signed photo so they can sell it.
Yikes.
People pay money for your signature? You have it so much easier than the rest of us.
How can you tell what their intentions are, though? I feel like I should ask for the benefit of my own signings.
Oh, I just have to ask them who I'm signing the photo for. If they don't want it personalized, they're likely looking to sell it. At least, that's what they taught me when I was in PR training.
PR training? Like talking to the media? Way too intense. I could never handle that.
How do you cope?
There's a few moments that make it all worthwhile. And for everything else, there's vodka.
Ah. Everyone laughs at the joke and the rest of us raise our beer in the air.
Ready to give it a shot, Kyron?
If I had to answer based on the smell, I'd say no, but I'm not about to back down from a challenge.
And there's the toast for the night. Here's to not backing down from a challenge.
Yeah, we stick it out to the very end.
We touch up beer cans together and each take a swig. I didn't drink that much tonight, and I'm perfectly sober. I had to take it easy since the quantum leap was coming up.
Okay, this one is actually disgusting.
Seriously?
I kinda like it.
Might as well go outside and bite a pine tree.
It is not that bad.
It's an acquired taste. I'll give you that much.
I mean, it's a canned beer, so like...
Well, here I go acquiring.
I'm not that age of, like, said drinking beer, but from what I've heard, canned beer is worse. He takes another large swig and coughs soon after. Isaac leans forward, like he's about to say something important.
You want to see something cool? I've been getting the backyard ready for the party.
I still think we should have hosted it at my place. More room, and I got that pool in the back.
Also, it was your idea.
Yeah, that's a big one.
What, you want everyone to know where you live? I figured I was doing you a favor by hosting it here.
Fair.
Besides, I think you'll like what you see. Sharing a beer while the sun sets is a lot better than staying inside, too.
Can't argue with that. Go on then, Isaac. Show us the way.
I like how we're all just like... We snuck out of place because we seem suspicious. Someone might be following us, maybe. I don't know. Let's have a party. Like, yeah, just like, immediately just like, alright, we're good. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Oh. Has the little overhead thingy. That and the fact it's beautiful. Make our way to the backyard and I'm stunned by its beauty. It may not have a pool or be as fancy as Taylor's house, but it had character. And in my opinion, character would win over fancy tech any day. This is actually my first time in the backyard, and it's clear that Isaac cared for it. And this is where we'd be bringing the new year. I'm definitely excited. I'm a bit uncertain having a huge crowd over is a good idea, but I trust Isaac. Perhaps it would even work to our benefit and let us blend in. If Argus ever did come after us, a crowd party would be the worst place to attack. Someone told me that if they wanted to deal with us, they'd do so in private.
So, you like it? I've been working on it all week. Had a few coworkers help me out too.
It looks awesome, Definitely gives me some colony vibes. Everything else in the city is way too bright and high-tech.
You should see Taylor's house sometime.
Guessing it's the opposite of this? If that's the case, I think I'll pass. The jet is already fancy enough.
And to think, I was about to ask you over for a date.
How about we do it at my place instead? We can set the windows to a more romantic view. Maybe the sunset, or even a city skyline.
How about the stars? I've always found them pretty romantic. Especially in the dead of night, too.
I'll have to pass on that one. Stars mean something different on the colonies. Definitely not conducive to romance.
We all take a seat in the gazebo type thing and start sipping our beers. Gazebo type thing.
Wait, what? Stars are different for you?
The meaning of them, yeah. It's just a silly superstition anyway.
I know about that, actually. Seen a lot of people talk about it online.
Anyone care to elaborate?
Please?
That's nothing special, but sure. In the city, when someone dies, you say, they return to the earth. But on the colonies, it's the opposite. We say, they return to the stars.
Okay, that sounds so much cooler. Can't believe I've never heard it before.
I'm surprised Isaac has, honestly. There isn't much mingling between our two worlds.
I'm just a jack of all trades, I guess. Pick up a lot of random facts in retail. Like I always say, people love to talk.
Do you ever do it then? You know, gaze up and remember?
Oh yeah, all the time. At the very least, it's still a pretty sight.
So you're saying all our friends and family are out there somewhere?
Yeah, we're cosmic beings, and this body is just a simple stop. Once it expires, we keep on sailing that vast sea of stars. So even if we feel alone, we never truly are. Get it?
It's definitely gotten. Makes our views seem super depressing, though.
Yeah, return to the earth, it's kind of stupid. Yeah, trampling all over everyone that came before you. Nah, I'd rather look up and know they're out there somewhere.
Do you think they're watching us? You know, to see what we've become?
Maybe, but I wouldn't be offended if they aren't. I imagine that limitless opportunities open up when we die. Looking back at Earth is probably the last thing on their mind.
I guess it depends on the person.
Probably. Anyway, Taylor, remember how you said the dead of night? At least you know how it got that name. A simple superstition.
Well, I'm sorry for suggesting something like that. In the city, we just look at the stars and see infinite potential. The chance to make a wish, especially with someone we love.
Kinda sounds like the two go hand in hand. Making a wish under the watchful eyes of our lost loved ones? And if we're in love, then sharing that wish with a partner? Makes total sense why we'd see it as romantic.
Speak for yourself, Dante. I don't want my dead ancestors watching me freak out. It's enough having the eyes of Argus on me all the time.
I don't think they're literally watching. I think it's more like a spiritual connection that's still in place. When all of us are gone, we'll still be connected by the stars.
Almost like a constellation of our own. It's pretty cool, actually. Kinda looking forward to it.
Looking forward to dying?
More like looking forward to absolute freedom. Plus, an author dying has never really hurt their career. I'll be touching more minds and hearts than I ever could while I'm alive.
As morbid as it is, you have a point. I imagine I'll blow up a bit after dying too.
What about you, Klace? Ever thought about that stuff?
Not really.
Really? Never thought about the legacy you'd leave behind?
I guess I'm just too busy to think about that kind of stuff. But trust me, this hiatus has my mind going to a lot of new places.
And you like what you've been experiencing?
Yeah, for sure.
By now, we're all done sipping our beers. Kyron has stopped objecting to the taste. He must have acquired it. Or maybe he's just intoxicated enough that the taste doesn't matter.
Is it okay if I go and get some sleep? We'll be back out here partying in a few days anyway, right?
Oh, of course. Don't feel pressured to stay awake. I can tell it's been a busy night for you.
Yeah, it's been a while since I sang like that. Reminds me of how tiring being on tour is.
Picked a pretty good song, too. I heard some of it on the way out.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Still can't believe you sang your own song. Isn't that a little self-serving?
It's definitely not like that, Isaac, I promise. Besides, I serviced myself enough last night anyways.
What?
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 What? Clay stands up and wobbles, like to bruise him all at once. I jump up and wrap my arm around him. He seems pretty embarrassed.
Delta, just the person I wanted to see. Mind taking me back to my room for a little chat?
I nod.
Whoa, I'm kind of jealous.
Back off, Dante.
Guess you'll be raising your hand next time too then, Delta.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
Oh, it's not like that, I promise. We've just both made big moves, you know? It helps to talk with someone in a similar situation.
I was only joking anyway. Sorry if you're having a hard time.
It's okay, Taylor. I know you well enough by now. Anyway, guess we'll see you all tomorrow?
Everyone looks at each other, and then Dante grins.
Raise your hand if you want to go pass out.
Already? Really? The night was just getting started.
I think it's a good time to cut things short, actually. That walk home really took it out of me.
Yeah, and the anxiety certainly didn't help. But this was supposed to be a low-energy night anyway. Gotta conserve some of our power for New Year's Eve.
Boring.
I mean, you guys have 4 days? Yeah, 4 days, 5 days, somewhere in between.
It's 4 days away,
Yeah,
man.
4 days.
We can go back inside to hang out, but I'm all done partying. Wouldn't want to have too much fun without Klace and Delta anyway.
Fair.
Everyone raises their hand as if agreeing with Dante's earlier prompt. Empty beer cans are thrown in the recycling bin before we re-enter the house. As we all split up, however, I stick with Klace and take him to his room. My curiosity has piqued. I don't know what he wants to talk about. As we make our way to his room, the chatter and the laughs fade into silence. It's replaced by vibrations in my pocket. He must be using the group chat. But right now I have more important things to take care of. Klace. Wait a second, this ain't your room. This is my room. As soon as we enter the room, Klace makes sure to shut the door behind us. A few moments later, he turns around to face me. He looks completely sober.
Sorry, I wasn't even really that drunk. I just needed to get away from everything, you know?
I'm not sure I know, so I just shrug.
Don't you find it all a little suffocating, Delta? I mean, this fresh start could just put you behind bars. And my little hiatus, instead of inspiring me, could end my career.
God. It's a little scary, but I know we'll face everything together.
Normally I'd agree, but it's not like we're fighting an easy battle. Argus could be waiting for us around every street corner.
He takes out his phone and unlocks it.
Did you know that Cypher isn't the first group to oppose Argus? I've actually been looking into the history of all this. You know, the fight to make zeros more equal.
Cypher isn't the first organization to try? Well, they've definitely gone farther than any other group, that's for sure.
It seems that way, but there's just no way to confirm it. Any information about the groups before Cypher is impossible to find. I can only see that the heads of those groups were apprehended and never seen again.
What?
There's not a single mention of them after they were taken in. But that's not normal. It's like a scrub job, and a thorough one at that. I recognize the pattern because I've seen it happen in the idol business.
What, people just get caught or fail and just get wiped from existence?
I think we're climbing the wrong tree, Delta. And every moment that passes, we get too high to jump back down. It's more than I bargained for, and I just don't know what to do.
We should trust Isaac. He never put us in danger like that.
Are you sure about that, though? Or I mean, maybe he doesn't know about the danger. We may be smaller scale than Cypher, but we're rebelling all the same. If this doesn't end in favor of the Zeros, we'll be in trouble. I think Isaac is operating under the hope that Cypher will win, but after looking into the history of these organizations, I'm skeptical. It's very likely that Argus already knows who the leader of Cypher is. And I bet they'll disappear without a trace, too. But Argus won't back down. Any investigation, however small, has a chance of being traced back to us.
We shouldn't feel bad. We're fighting for what's right.
But it's against all odds, and that's what worries me. Being a martyr is admirable and all, but not if the people forget you. They could take us out and then scrub our identities from existence. In the backyard, they were talking about legacies to leave behind. But we're up against Argus. They can snap a finger and we're just gone. No legacy, no martyrdom. We just messed with the wrong group and paid for it.
There's no sign that we're in any danger. Not at all.
Well, the anxiety of not knowing is really killing me. I'm just not sure if I'm supposed to be part of this group. If we're all caught, then my career would be over and I'd disappear.
I really don't think Argus is coming after us, Klace.
You don't know how many times I've wanted the turn in Isaac. How many times I've written the text and had my finger over send. It's not easy, living like every day could be your last. It's terrifying.
Klace.
But there's a reason I haven't done it yet. There's a reason I've stuck by your side and everyone else's. I think my instinct to turn and run is just one the label forced on me. Like I said, if we were caught, then my career would probably be over. It says a lot that I care more about my career than I do about myself. They taught me to put that first, since it's the real moneymaker. I'm always scared to do things because of how they'd affect my image. Even if they're things I want, and things I know would make me happy. That's why I haven't turned in Isaac. It's what the label would want. But it's not what I want. And I struggle with that every single day. Especially since this hiatus has let me taste independence. Whether we're caught or I go back to work, I'll lose it either way.
Your career won't end if we're caught.
I find that hard to believe. There's not much love in the world for those who defy our leaders. Especially for those who build a platform and use it for subterfuge.
Remember, public opinion is with the Zeros, not Argus.
I guess you're right.
If Cypher wins, he could be seen as a hero, or a pioneer.
A hero?
Yeah, if Argus loses, then it won't be the bad
I
guys.
guess I just find it hard to believe that we'll come out on top. But you're right. If the tables turn, we'll be on the other side. I'm only just scared because they haven't moved yet.
They will soon. Remember what Hermes demanded.
Yeah, a revolution by giving out phones to all the Zeros. They're giving Argus the chance to do it first, but I don't think they will. I'd hate it so much if Zeros dying of starvation was the catalyst for change. Because then, how do you decide how many lives are enough? At what point would Cypher realize it's time to take action? That both sides see any lives as expendable is just awful. But it's the world we live in.
With a contrasting smirk, he gives me a playful nudge.
If this all goes our way, I definitely wouldn't mind being called a hero. And it's good that we're close. Every hero needs a good sidekick, right?
Sidekick? Excuse me, Mr. Hero. I could tell I've been given enough affirmation. His doubt moves aside, and I met with optimism. It's a trait that was definitely lacking before we started talking.
So, can I trust in you then? If I'm ever in trouble, you'll come to my rescue?
I feared it'd be the hero that rescues his sidekick, actually.
I guess it could go both ways. Then we're more like a team.
There we go. He looks happy, but also contemplative.
Every good team needs a name, though.
Oh my... Don't come up with a name. I swear to God. He's clearly having a hard time thinking of a name, so I decided to step up. I'm deciding! Given our interactions thus far, I have a pretty good idea for our team name. Lost and Clueless. Are you kidding me? Delta. I mean, it works, yes, but like... Remember, Lost and Clueless. I'll hold out my hand.
Lost and clueless, huh?
It's like Dumb and Dumber, but it's Lost and Clueless. He smiles and gives my hand a firm shake.
Seems to describe a lot of us these days. But I'm starting to see the light on the other side. Maybe Isaac is right. Maybe we will be fine. And even if we aren't, at least I've got my sidekick. Gotta say, always liked the idea of my own knight in shining armor. Thanks for the chat, Delta. I knew you'd be the right choice.
Fish out of water, right?
But getting used to it more and more. If I ever need someone to talk to again, I'll let you know. That diary isn't exactly the best at giving me advice in return.
Because books don't talk. I nod and smile, sensing that the conversation has reached its natural end. With a quick good night, he jumps into bed. I take as my cue to leave. But on the way out of his room, something catches my attention. His diary is resting on a desk that's placed against one of the walls. Around it are worrying amounts of empty booze and pill bottles. I immediately avert my gaze as I feel like it's none of my business. But then I immediately look back, a little shocked and worried. It was clear that this was taking a toll on him, and I hated to see that. But I can't start doubting him. I have to believe in him and his words. We're a team now, after all. He never turned us in just to save himself. At least that's why I chose to tell myself as I leave him on his own. In an effort to cleanse my mind, I check my phone as soon as I leave the room. It looks like it's business as usual. I don't think anyone knows how Klace truly feels. Right now, the main concern is that Dante left his wallet at the Wayfarer. Are you fucking kidding me? Again! You left your wallet again! He certainly seems forgetful, doesn't he? Now that I know more about him, though, I offered to pick up in the morning. It was a keepsake, and it clearly had meaning to him, despite seeming otherwise. He thanks me, and I return to my room. Like last time, I plug in my phone and stare up at the ceiling. But fatigue doesn't take me. It's replaced by a new wave of worry. I worry about what might happen to my friends. But I realize they're all on the same team. We're in this together. I cling to that feeling of togetherness and hold it deep into a sleepless night. More like a team. A lost memento. A newfound fear. Saturday, December 28th. I sit in a chair, bouncing my leg up and down in a state of anxiety. A restless night. I definitely hate to add more of those to the pile. But a lot of stuff is happening. Stuff I can't even talk about.
Well then, you definitely seem nervous. Is everything all right, Delta? What's bothering you?
Just didn't get any sleep last night, that's all.
I see. Bad dreams, perhaps? Those can easily get the better of us.
I nod, choosing to go along with the narrative he creates.
Just remember that they aren't real. Easier said than done, but it's a good starting point.
He scribbles down notes in my file. I wonder what he's saying about me in there. I'm sure he's trained to discern when his patients are lying.
You know, specters of the imagination can easily be our greatest foes. Not quite real enough for others to take notice, yet real enough to be all-consuming. Try not to let this get to your head, Delta. You've made remarkable progress since we first met.
Yeah, but like, you don't really know me. Like, you know, my friend is a 0. He continues to scribble notes. I appreciate his validation.
A lot of people have a hard time adjusting to a new life. It's not exactly easy to leave everything behind, so I commend your resolve.
I suppose he sees this as an off day for me. Maybe it is.
This reminds me of an interesting thought exercise. Have you ever noticed how we remember dreams backwards? That final moment upon waking is the one that sticks with us the most. Then we piece it together bit by bit, retracing our steps the other way.
Huh?
Fragments of lingering memories scattered about. Complete, yet not quite whole.
Fragment!
That is how people describe the feeling of Komorebi. Their visions may be one moment, but they still carry memories. How old you are in your vision is almost as important as the vision itself.
Interesting.
Imagine if your consciousness was thrust forward 30 years. You'd be a completely different person. The way you think and act. Kind of like how your bad dream affects the way you feel right now.
So I'll be like 50. Delta will be like 50.
But then, imagine that on repeat, almost every single day. You may never experience Komorebi, but this could help you understand it. And understanding it might help you relate with your friends a little bit more.
He gives me a wide smile, like he's super satisfied with his words. The thought of being lost in time scares me. It makes me worry for my friends. Being forced into the future? Being forced to carry years of false memories? False memories. It would really mess up your sense of past, present, and future.
I suppose this is where I tell you that you might be cleared as a patient soon. So if there's any final advice I can give you, I feel obligated to do so.
Really? I'm actually kind of surprised.
The mental health of my patients is my greatest concern. Unfortunately, there are others who could benefit more from my time.
I can understand that, but suddenly I'm filled with sadness. This was an invaluable resource that I should be able to make use of. It's awful how I can't tell him what I'm really feeling, what I've really been doing. It hurts that I might need the help he no longer feels willing to offer. But the parting gift of useful advice during our final sessions is appreciated. It's what I saw him as in the first place, after all, a mentor figure.
The offboarding process is quite simple. I just need 2 more sessions to determine if my decision is final. A lack of issues to talk about is a pretty good sign in your favor, though.
An apparent lack, more like. I noticed that I've stuck bouncing my leg up and down. It's like my body's at ease, knowing I might be cleared soon. If that happened, he'd never be able to figure out what I've been up to. However, my mind is far from the opposite. It's interesting how our body can clash in such a way. Feeling ease, but unease at the same time. Is there a word for that?
Moving along, did you see the latest August keynote? A little odd that they didn't talk about the protests. Although this nostalgia technology seems quite interesting. Even if it might be decades away, it's still a nice concept. From a purely therapeutic perspective, of course.
It sounds vaguely familiar, yet I can't remember why. Didn't Argus mention nostalgia during our anniversary report as well? I asked him to elaborate, but he's cut off before he can speak. His phone rings.
Excuse me for a moment.
He takes his phone out of his pocket and accepts the call.
Yes? What is it?
He looks around the room as he speaks. It's almost like he's frightened by who he's talking to.
No, it's all going well.
He looks... Yeah, he gulps.
Of course. I'll make sure that it gets taken care of. No, I wouldn't dream of it. Like I said, it's all going well.
He locks eyes with me. For some reason, I'm terrified. I'm used to seeing him calm and collected. This is very unsettling. But he doesn't look away. It's almost like he's judging me.
The 5th, you said? Very well.
The 5th? He breaks eye contact. I feel like I can breathe again. It's clear that his conversation is over as he nods once more.
Yes. Our future. Your way.
He hangs up and then smiles at me. A nervous smile.
Delta.
I gulp.
Do you mind if we pick this up tomorrow? I can pencil in another session. Something has come up.
Ah, shit. Have we been found? I figured I was saying the matter, so I nod.
Thank you for being accommodating. I'll make sure that tomorrow goes a little better. Let's hope you get a good night's sleep, too.
Without another word, he looks down at his phone and starts tapping away. I take this as a sign to leave and make my way toward the exit. I can't shake this feeling, this awful paranoia. But I promise I'd pick up Dante's wallet at the Wayfarer. I have to follow through. I wouldn't want to let him down. But returning to the scene of the crime, it's scary. Oh well, here goes nothing. Shit, have we been found out? I did not like that. I did not like that at all. I entered the Wayfarer, passing the outdated security scan of ease. Good to know that it's not updated yet, in case I have decided to come back here. It also gives me a sense of comfort that nobody was tipped off last night. We're in the clear. After approaching the bar, the proprietor walks towards me. My heart begins to race. For some reason, I felt I was about to get caught, like our actions would catch up to us. However, with a friendly smile and a brief conversation, they hand back Dante's wallet. Of course, not without a comment about how outdated such an item is. Odd thing for someone to say when they pride themselves on their outdated aesthetic. I laughed to myself, realizing that everything was fine. I was probably just being scared after what Klace told me about the previous rebel groups. Of course, as I make my way to the exit, everything changes. Out of the corner of my eye, I see somebody standing there, staring. I turn to face him, but much to my surprise, I see nobody there. Huh? My heart sinks to my stomach, but I'm relieved that I was seeing things. That is, until I close my eyes and shake my head. It should have granted me clarity. But instead I see them again. I lock up in fright and start to tremble. I know exactly what they are. They're an agent of Argus. We lock eyes. They give me a sinister smile. In this exact moment, a physical link is undeniable. I want to look away, but I'm almost physically incapable. It feels like a chase could begin with any sudden movement, like I'm some sort of prey. I suppose we are, with what we've been up to lately. Is this where it comes to an end? A moment later, the sinister smile turns into something more warm and friendly. They tilt their head behind him, as if signaling me to look. It's the back door. The very same one that we used to sneak Kyron in last night. They must know. Then, they hold their hand, and the sight before me almost makes my heart stop. Resting in their palm is a single, glistening apple. Are they mocking me? The back door, the apple, symbols for our treason, my treason. There's no way. Just then, someone bumps into me, and I stumble back. They apologize and move on. But when I turn to look at the back door again, the agent is nowhere to be seen. A wave of relief crashes down upon me, but worry still lingers. I may be safe now, but that moment changed everything. Perhaps it was meant to be a portend, a warning not to continue. Or perhaps the stress was gained to me, simply my imagination. Either way, I take out my phone and text everybody. Meet me in the plane immediately, all of you. A warning, go back to the Wayfarer. Okay, that actually gave me a jump. That actually gave me a jump when it glitched. That was that was terrifying. I wish with all my heart that what I saw in the Wayfarer wasn't real. But at the same time, with everything going on, it was too important to ignore. In a state of anxiety, I hide in the plane and wait for my friends to arrive. Thankfully, there's plenty of snacks and drinks in the plane. A bit stale, like Kyron mentioned, but satisfying nonetheless. If we ever need to truly hide, this will be our best bet. I can't shake this feeling though. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Was I bottling up everything for so long that it's finally escaping? No, it couldn't be. I'll talk to my friends, and they'll put my mind at ease.
Hey, Delta! Sorry to keep you waiting. Figured I'd round everyone up and drive here together.
Can't believe he convinced me to get in that death trap.
It's not a death trap, it's homey.
If your idea of a home is a torture chamber, sure. Can't believe people used to drive around in things like that.
Like I keep saying, you'll thank me for having it one day.
That day is not today.
Anyway, what's up? That text was kind of worrisome.
For good reason. I saw an Argus agent.
You mean just minding their own business, right?
I say nothing.
Right?
I shake my head.
What happened, exactly?
I saw them at the Wayfarer when I picked up Dante's wallet.
Oh, I'll take that back, by the way.
I nod and toss him his wallet. He catches it with ease. They were standing by the back door, staring at me.
That doesn't mean they were after us, though. Maybe they realized someone snuck in there and upped the security.
They stared directly at me and held up an apple.
That is problematic.
That doesn't make sense. It's too perfect?
Remember what I said last week? Argus cracks down immediately. They wouldn't let us wander.
Yeah, they don't seem like the type to play mind games like this. If they were on our trail, we'd already be locked up.
Don't they have bigger fish to fry? You know, like with Hermes and Cypher? Kind of figured we were small time compared to that.
I feel like you don't believe me. Is it worth the risk to just disregard this?
Oh, we're not disregarding it. It just feels like we're missing a piece of the puzzle.
Maybe they think we're caught up with Hermes? They could be gathering intel before they act.
You mean during the con next week?
If they want to abide by his timeline, yeah. I really hope we're not caught in the crosshairs here.
Call me paranoid, but I just knew something would happen. Everything was going way too smoothly.
They were probably onto us from the start.
Are we gonna get in trouble?
You might, but I don't know about me. I feel like I'll just get kicked out and go back to my normal life.
You instill us with so much hope.
Just part of the job, but you can't say I didn't warn you about this. Remember, I told you about my vision. Still on the colony.
What about Isaac's, though?
Has he actually told you what it is?
What do you mean?
Did he tell you what it is, or did you just take his word for it?
I don't like what you're implying.
Just speaking my mind, that's all. Don't really have a stake in all this business. I'm only here to enjoy life in the city for as long as I can.
I won't even consider it an option.
What are we considering exactly?
Klace seems a bit lost in his diary, scribbling notes once more.
That Isaac lied about his vision and lured us into a dangerous situation. Or that he could be lying about any number of things he's said.
It could be Klace, too.
Huh?
Always staring at us, taking notes.
I'm not taking notes.
What are you writing in there, then?
It's my diary.
And you won't mind if I take a look.
Kyron walks toward Klace like he's on a mission. Almost immediately, however, Isaac blocks his path.
Kyron, stop. That's not how things work around here. In the city, we trust our friends until they give us a reason not to.
None of you see any reason.
I don't really see one.
I don't think we're being deceived, Kyron. If we get in trouble, it's just because we slipped up.
Kyron scoffs.
You trust too easily. It's a recipe for disaster, but I'm the odd one out, so I'll take your word for it.
Good. Just calm down, everybody.
I notice that Klace looks terrified, clutching his diary to his chest.
Everything is gonna be fine. I promise. Delta, what you saw is alarming, but it's not a death sentence.
How so?
We're still safe. We can keep it that way. From this point on, we don't leave each other's sides.
Ooh, does that mean we get to sleep together, too?
No.
Taylor.
Taylor.
Sorry.
If Argus is watching us, then we can't split up anymore. In fact, letting Delta go get your wallet was probably too risky.
He looks at Dante, who simply nods.
Works for me.
What about my streams?
We'll just chill in your living room or something.
And Delta's counselor sessions?
We can wait outside. I said we wouldn't split up. We'll all still be close by.
I like the sound of that, actually. Makes me feel a lot more safe.
Then I get to come to the Quantum Leap?
I suppose you do.
Seems like a win-win to me. Maybe hook me up with that group chat, too?
Well, it seems like we don't really have a choice.
This is all happening so suddenly, but seeing that agent was sudden too. Sticking as close together as possible makes sense, at least in my head. We could all be on the lookout, and we'd be a bit safer. It reminds me of those dumb characters in the horror movies that always split up. It's a lot easier for the enemy to take us down one by one. Comparing my life to horror? Fantastic. I also don't think that one of us is a traitor, or lying in any way. But sticking together would eliminate the possibility of shady activity. If we all kept tabs on one another, it would be a lot harder to do anything malicious.
But we need some ground rules, just in case this agent thing is actually real.
actually real? What do you mean?
I mean, I hate to say it, but we didn't see anything. We just have Delta's word to go off of.
Are you saying Delta's lying?
No, perhaps they're just mistaken. I've been on edge a lot lately too, you know. Definitely thought I saw some stuff in the corner of my eye.
I did consider that it could be on my head.
That's fair.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be cautious. If anything, this can just push us toward a better overall plan.
What did you have in mind?
Well, bathroom breaks, separate beds, and stuff like that. We can still give each other alone time, just in different rooms. The security in all of our houses is good enough to make that happen.
True. If anyone comes near my house, I'll know about it.
Mine too. So those should be our safe spaces.
And this plane?
Could be risky. In our homes, at least we're in control. I have no idea what's going on beneath the surface here.
If they could hear us in this plane, things would have ended a while ago. Remember, this is where you told us your grand plan.
Maybe that's what tipped them off.
And remember who suggested that we come here?
He tilts his head toward Klace.
Kyron, you need to stop pointing fingers. We're all in this together, and we'll keep each other safe. Besides, I know Argus will give in to Cypher's demands.
You sound so certain it's almost coming off as cocky.
That may be, but I really believe it. And we can't get in trouble if this all goes our way. Like I said, we'd just be ahead of the curve.
Then we just need to buy time until Hermes' deadline.
I suppose so. It's what we would have done anyway.
Then what's the next step?
We should go to my place. Like I said, the security is top-notch. You know how much I value my privacy.
Yeah, don't want those wild fans to come knocking.
We can talk more about it there. This was all so haphazard, but I think it's a good start.
We all look at each other and nod. Even in this new situation, it feels like we're back to square one. I just hope that this ends in the favor of the Zeros and by extension us. Because if what we did is no longer bad, then we'll be in the clear. I think. But I remember some earlier discussions that Argus may have already decided in secret. If that's the case, and they're also watching us, things could already be over. Yeesh. Yeesh. Part 3. Hard to find, easy to lose.
Welcome to the third fragment map. This one functions exactly the same as the previous two.
Yeah.
With that said, please continue enjoying your experience.
Welcome to the third. This will become available in future fragment maps. These are locked. I don't like this. I mean, I guess we are like sticking together, so there's not really a one-on-one time anymore. But yeah, alright, that was the culmination fragment for fragment map 2. That was something. Yeah, so next part we're starting fragment map 3, and I think we only have 3 and 4 because it said there's only 4 fragment maps. So yeah, we've crossed the halfway point. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and like watch my other content if you like it, and also algorithm stuff. Subscribe if you like. Subscribe if you enjoy. Like the video, and yeah, do all the cool algorithm stuff if you enjoy. But yeah, That was a lot. See ya.